I think the elephant in the room is, of course, does anybody want to actually buy cryptocurrency? We've been in this kind of like this rut, right? Where we're stuck in the middle of a very hard place. Yes, we've been getting a lot of institutional interest from the cryptocurrency space, but we just haven't seen retail. Now, many would say, oh, retail isn't coming back because they got scammed. I don't honestly think that what it is. I just think the average normie or retail investor just are in a position where they have to prioritize their responsibilities. I remember looking at a graph, and the graph was showing the rise in the electricity bills since, I believe, like COVID or something. And California was up like 63%. It might have been 1 year. I don't know if it was since COVID. It might have been 1 year, but it was a graph showing the rise in just electricity prices. And that alone told me that retail, they want to be able to invest. Like, there's retail people that know invest, and not every retail person is dumb and just ignorant to investing, but just the average household is really hard, right? It's really hard. That's why you're seeing those numbers being revised, where people are going to get second jobs. They're, trying to find side gigs, right? You'll see videos on YouTube where it says nobody wants to work a 9 to 5. Yeah, people want to work, but it has to be worth it. I remember I was talking to somebody that I know personally, right? And they were going to get a second job, and they were talking about, I'm working to become an assistant manager at Family Dollar, right? And then Family Dollar was paying like $12 or $14 or something for assistant manager. I'm like, that's crazy, right? When you think about all of the responsibilities that we have as far as monthly expenses, mortgage, car note, if you got car expenses, anything can happen, emergency funds, medical, like anything can happen, and retail just not prepared for that. So if retail is not prepared for that from an emergency perspective, it's going to be extremely hard for them to buy cryptocurrency. Like, oh, buy cryptocurrency as soon as I buy it, it goes down. I know that they just won't do that. So until that liquidity comes into the economy, because that's really what the government and them is really pushing, right? The government shut down. The government is shut down right now, right? So that just gives them an excuse to do what? Print money, right? Which could grow risk on assets. So the main thing right now is patience. Just having patience. Trust me. Like, Wednesday is a day I like to just go out, walk, because I know, like, staring at that chart can be very, very depressing. And if you got a lot of money in the market and you're seeing things that you always wanted to buy, and you planned vacations, it becomes even more stress because you want to do these things and not just be stuck holding cryptocurrency for the rest of your life. I think patience is the most important thing inside crypto, and just investing in period. Investing in general, you gotta have patience, right? I can remember so many times when I was feeling like pressure of the market selling off, and everything was seeming like doom and gloom, and my sentiment was just so down. I was stressed from crypto. And what I've noticed is that every time that I start feeling like that, it's like we're the closest to the bottom, right? We're the closest to the bottom. Not to add, every time we do get in that position where we actually start dumping and stuff like that, it seems like we get more bullish news from an adoption standpoint, right? It's always a new company integrating crypto for payments. They're slowly integrating crypto into financial infrastructure. They have been slowly doing it all year. So yes, one would say that this move that we've been seeing for the last year or 2 years has been mostly pushed by institutions. I agree, right? I agree 110%. But that's what we were supposed to be doing, right? Ain't we supposed to buy when the smart money buys, right? Or buy before the smart money, and the smart money pumps our bags. That's what's been happening. We bought before the smart money's been pumping our bags.
The true altcoin season happens when FOMO returns to the market, right? And I said that earlier in the video. Retail has to feel like they have money again. Like crypto is more like the average new person that I meet in crypto, they're not interested, but they're intrigued. Like they hear about it, they're like, oh, what is this? You know what I mean? Should I take a chance on it? Should I not, right? Should I try to make money off it? But is it worth it, right? Because I really don't got a lot of money to put in it. And from what I've been hearing, mostly everybody gets scammed, right? So that's the whole thing. Like people's like, oh, it's a scam, right? You go do your research, you learn that it's not a scam, right? It's really how you look at the market. Your perspective is your reality, right? You can't let the sentiment get to you. You can't let CT, the stuff that's happening in the market, get to you. You got to stay strong, and you got to have an understanding of what type of investor you're going to be, right? Because once you let someone throw you off your strategy, that's really when everything goes downhill. So, you know, you're going to win some, you're going to lose some, but you know, you're gonna fight to see another day, right? And eventually you run into your opportunity in crypto. People always ask me, they like, you know, well, I don't say always, but people have been asking me like, Millie, you know, what's up with the token? Are we launching? When launch? When launch? When launch? It's like, God, I trust what I am going to do as an individual. What I don't trust is with the holders, with the people, with the community, right? I know what I'm gonna do. I know that I'm gonna do everything that I'm supposed to do. But like, crypto's so toxic, man. You know what I mean? It's so toxic on chain, right? It's not like that from everybody, but like on chain in the trenches is extremely toxic. And I can remember like with the last token, like when everything was pumping, and like that was like the best feeling of my life, seeing people making money, right? It was the best feeling of my life. But when everything started to go downhill, that was like the most stressed part of my freaking life, man. I was extremely stressed, right? I remember watching an interview a couple days ago, maybe yesterday, and the owner of Litecoin, they asked him, they said, you know, what advice would you give anybody out there, you know, that's looking to get into crypto? And he basically said, you know, or they asked him, what would he have done differently? And he basically said he wouldn't have created Litecoin. He said, I wouldn't have created Litecoin. I would have just bought Bitcoin and stayed anonymous. So that just right there tells you, right? Litecoin, build millions, billions of dollars, whatever. And like the guy's like, I never made a dime off it. And I spent most of my time being stressed out because of the coin. Like nobody wants to deal with that. Nobody wants to deal with that. That's why you don't see much like people with big names that have integrity. You see the grifters that have big names, they don't care, right? They've been grifting, they're gonna grift on everything. But like big name people that have integrity and character, that's why you've been seeing them struggling with the idea of just launching a creator coin. Because yeah, everything is all peaches and cream when the prices go up, but the real game starts is when the prices go down, right? That's when everything really starts, right? When everything is like micromanaged. And I remember having that pressure, bro, and it's like the worst feeling in the world. The worst feeling in the world, right? I wouldn't wish that upon anybody, right? So, like, yeah, I'm so like not wanting to deal with stress. I'm at the part of my life where I don't want to deal with stress. It's like, and that's where I'm at with crypto, right? It's like, okay, yeah, I want to buy some stuff. I want to enjoy my money. I'm tired of just like holding crypto. I'm tired of having to make the same video, say the same thing over and over and over. And it's like, where's the interest? Like I said, people are intrigued, but there is no interest. Look at the views on YouTube. Like they're down 70, 80, 90% on crypto content. They're down. They're 70, 80, 90% on crypto content, right? Because that's just what the level of interest there is in crypto, because people have other priorities. And it's not necessarily because crypto has a bad name, because it's not being integrated or people don't use it. It's just like everything that's going on in the economy with people and their responsibilities is just far more important than cryptocurrency. And why would they not do that? Why would they not make it hard for people to to get wealthy in crypto. It's not gonna be easy. You know what I'm saying? No one said this was actually gonna be easy, especially when you look at things from just the psychological standpoint of seasonality and how a lot of this stuff be pre-planned, allegedly. You know, government shutdowns. Look at historically what happens to markets every time the government shuts down. You know what I mean? And then new presidents, historically, you know what I mean? They print money because they want to be known as the person that saved the economy. So like, you're already seeing so many like companies, Walmart, all these companies like, oh, we're integrating Bitcoin payments. We're integrating payments for multiple cryptocurrencies, right? You're starting to see like the framework and the, you know, the structure being laid down from an infrastructure standpoint. So like, yeah, let all of this stuff happen because it's going to make it easier to on-ramp retail into crypto. This is my personal bet. And it's the same thing is how I look at BitTensor, right? When I think about AI, the first thing I think about AI is all of these AI companies and these electricity bills. I don't know, they was just saying how high these electricity bills are about to be because of artificial intelligence, right? So now you start digging down the rabbit hole of compute power, serverless compute power, right? Making it more efficient for people to build out these models, and it just made sense. And then, okay, now it's tied with cryptocurrency, right? Two financial instruments, artificial intelligence, cryptocurrency. Both have been breaking records. How fast they've been growing, how fast they make millionaires, all of that involved. So when you think about all of that, you're like, okay, gotta have some exposure to it. You know, I wanna build generational wealth for my family. I gotta have some exposure to cryptocurrency. I think it's gonna be hard. It's going to be very, very hard. It's going to require tons of patience. Tons of patience, chat. It's gonna require tons of patience. The sun is glaring off that. But it's gonna require tons of patience, and that's the thing. Most people, they just don't have the patience. They just don't have the patience. You gotta have the patience inside cryptocurrency. You gotta have the patience investing, period. When I read books, one thing that is consistent about most books that I read, and even when I knocked on doors and I met successful people, and if you see me squint, it's because the sun is shining. I thought those glasses was gonna help out with that. That didn't help out. But what I'm saying is, most of them always say at some point they started investing. They started making their money work for itself, and it grew over time, right? This is why you are so much, and this is why you got to ask yourself about the economy. This is why once you save up $10,000, $20,000, you're more likely to become successful than someone that has $1,000, right? Because it's just a psychological level, right? You get to that certain point where you got enough money to start thinking about how I can make this money work for itself. The problem is there's a lot of people that's not at that level. They have to, oh, I can't spend this money because I gotta pay for this bill, or I can't spend this because I can't buy this, I really want this, I can't do this because I gotta take care of this bill, right? So like, the main focus should be breaking out of that level. You know what I'm saying? You got to break up out of that category, right? Once you break out of that category, you have money saved up. Now you can start thinking about, how can I make this money work for me? And in my opinion, not financial advice, of course, but my opinion has always been artificial intelligence, financial, digital assets. Artificial intelligence, digital assets. Those are the two things that right now make the most sense. In 5 years, it'll be something different. In 10 years, it's going to be something different. Just remember to keep that in mind. Things change quickly. Things change extremely quickly. But that all coincides in this parallel with delayed gratification, man. You gotta have per se delayed gratification if you're gonna be successful. That's just what it is. So I don't know, guys, y'all let me know what y'all think about these vlogs, these videos. These are just like honest thoughts that I want to share with my community, because you know, one of the main things is just getting things off my chest and being able to reach out to a like-minded people, right? Networking with people that think the same as you. So we're gonna make it, WAGME. We all gonna make it. Stay focused. Make sure you understand that, you know what I mean, the race is not given to the swift or the strong. Keep your head high. It's good to touch grass. Anyways, I'm gonna see y'all next one. It's your boy Crypto Millie. I'm out. Crypto chain saves lives. Crypto saved my life. Kept me out the hood. I mean, kept me busy. That's how it be. Boarding people into pump daily. Losing is not an option.